Hello everybody, Carol Garrison with Carol's Creative Escape. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and it is time for another weekly Make It Monday. I've got a fun video card tutorial to share with you tonight, and it's featuring one of the stamp sets that you can get for free during celebration, as well as some of the beautiful Regency Park Designer Series paper that's in the annual catalog. Hope everybody's had a great week since we went live last week. Pretty mellow week here at our house. My husband came down with COVID again. I've managed to avoid it still so far. So he's been kind of laying low. He was able to go back to work today. So we haven't seen or done a whole lot with people. I did spend a chunk of time with my mom last week, which was really nice. And we had kind of plans to do one thing and it just sort of evolved into something else. So we were able to clear out some of the things in her apartment that she didn't want anymore, and also got some pictures hung or rehung back in the apartment as well too, which made her feel a little more like home again in her apartment building. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get cameras flipped and we can, start this next card layout. I think it's one that you're going to like. It's a fairly easy card to do. It's one that's quite adaptable to a variety of occasions, which I will be able to share with you. I want to make sure I'm going live in the right place here. Yes, I am. Great. It wasn't coming up at first. Uh-oh. Anyhow, I think it's one that you're going to find will be very flexible, and I've got many different occasion cards to share with you, so you can kind of see some of that flexibility in there as well. So let me go ahead and get started here. Excuse the jiggling as I flip my camera around. Just a moment, please. Oh, my stand is crooked. Yikes. All right, let's see how we're doing here. Sorry, I'm taking a little bit longer. And I didn't have my centerpiece down so that I can help make sure I've got my camera lined up. I kind of thought I was prepared tonight, but I do believe I have all my pieces and I know where everything is at. So let me go ahead and kind of talk through a little bit. Like I said, the stamp set that I'm featuring is this Adorable Owls, and that is one of the stamp sets that you can earn for free. Well, earn with a $50 purchase before taxes and shipping in the Celebration catalog. This is one of the cutest sets. I've seen so many cute, fun cards with this, and just want to remind you that Celebration does end on February 28th. So if this is a set that you've been thinking about getting, I would not sit back anymore waiting for the right time. I would go ahead and get it ordered. I'm making a birthday card today, so we're going to be using this owl with the party hat and the It's Your Day. And then, like I mentioned, the other part that I'm going to be using on this card is the Regency Park Designer Series paper that's in the mini catalog. This is the first paper I ordered out of this catalog, so you've seen it once or twice, and I'm sure that you're going to be seeing it again too as we go through, but kind of a different layout, and I'm combining it with those owls, and we'll see what happens here. So let's go ahead and get started. I would like to just share with you a couple of examples of this card layout, and then when we're done here, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make this card, and then I've got a few more examples that I'll share with you after we're done here. So this is one that I have done with the Dainty Details Designer Series paper, and it's just that panel with another strip of that. And then I'm using the dies that go with the, it's the one that I've used and used and used. Sentimental. Oh dear. It is the, it's the set that's got all the fabulous greetings in it. And I want to say it starts with something fancy. Something fancy, and then it's got the coordinating dies, including this fun little hexagon shape. Sorry, I couldn't spit that off the top of my head here. And then I've got this one, which is a Babies Are a Blessing card. This, again, is from the Go-To Greetings. And I did cheat. This ribbon is retired, but I liked it with the card. And I am using that designer series paper that I used last week as well. And that one is called, I want to make sure I get the name right because I tend to mix it up a little bit. The Fancy Flora designer series paper. And that's one that comes in a 6x6. And the background on this is seafoam, soft seafoam. So rich raspberry and soft seafoam. So now you've seen a couple examples. Let me slide those out of the way and I'll give you the measurements and then we will create this card. It's a fairly simple card to make, which is good to have on occasion. So I've got a piece of 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. This is Poppy Parade. And then I have a piece of basic white that's the standard 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside of my card. And then I have a piece of the designer series paper that is 2 1/4 by 5 1/4, and a second piece that measures 3/4 by 5 1/4. And this just happens to be the back side. A lot of times these will coordinate, sometimes they won't. But today I was able to do that. And then I have stamped, like I said, that It's Your Day. I'm going to be covering part of it up. So the It's Your Day is from the Adorable Owls stamp set as well. And I just used my stylish shapes to die cut using the banner on that. And then I also used that to cut a square. And I've already pre-stamped my owl because I'm going to be coloring this in before we attach it to the card. And then I also will be using some of the bordered ribbon in the Night of Navy color to decorate or enhance the card as well. And then finally I have some of the adhesive back Milky Dots that I think I'm going to be, that is not an adhesive back Milky Dot, that I think I'm going to be putting on here as well. So we'll just sort of see where we go with that. And let's go ahead and get started. I think I'm going to begin by coloring in my owl. So I've dragged in all of my blends pens that go with this paper. So we've got Night of Navy, Poppy Parade, Balmy Blue, Petal Pink, and Mango Melody. Honestly, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing. So we're going to kind of wing this one out here. I think the beak and the feet for sure will be Mango Melody. Now, because I am using the blend pens, which are alcohol based, I stamped my owl in the Memento ink, which is a water-based ink. And that way, when these two touch, they don't start to run or cause the other to run. That is kind of opposites attract, or opposites don't attract in this case. So if I'm using my blends, I want to make sure I'm using the Memento ink. If I was using watercolor pencils or my blend, my water painter brushes, then I would want to make sure that I was using the StazOn because that's an alcohol-based paint and that is not going to run as I am working with my project. Now I'm debating, because I struggle sometimes coloring things, colors that are perhaps a bit unusual for an owl. So I think I'm going to grab my crumb cake and we're going to color our owl in crumb cake. I tried and I just can't do it. Sorry. So we'll color his belly a little bit lighter. I thought I could. It's just not going to work. I've learned not to open my blends up over the surface I'm working on because every once in a while they kind of splatter and I don't want to have to re-stamp this if I can help it. So I've moved to the bigger end of my pen just to be able to fill in the space a little quicker. And the other thing you want to do when you're coloring in with a blend pen is you need to make sure, see I goofed when I stamped that up. I didn't get the center dark enough, so now you're seeing my goof as well, but doesn't matter. I think a lot of us have stamped on the back side. The thing with the blend pens is they will soak through your paper, so you want to make sure that this will always be either layered. If the back is going to show, you want it layered on top of something, or make sure that you just adhere it flat to your card, and then you won't have any issues with that. Then I'm going to use the darker crumb cake. Oh, that's really dark. That's all right. To color the rest of the owl's body. And then we'll use our fun colors for the rest of the owl. All right. And then let's see, how about we make the eyes Night of Navy? Because they kind of have dark eyes, right? Okay. And then we'll add a lot of color to this party hat with some Poppy Parade. Whoops. And what's nice about these blend pens is they have both a fine tip and a wider tip. So depending on what you're coloring, you don't have to worry about going out of the lines if you use the wider tip. Excuse me, you don't have to worry about going out of lines if you're doing a real small space because you've got the fine tip to work with. As I'm sitting there coloring in with the broad tip in a small space. Yikes. And then we got a little bit of petal pink here. That's what I was talking about with sometimes the ink blurps out. So I'm going to leave this for now in the hopes that that dries. If it doesn't, I'm just going to set it on the card and then I will redo that after the class is done. All right, now to assemble, that part is super easy. We're just going to fold our cardstock in half along the score line and take your bone folder and burnish that. And then I am actually not going to be putting anything on the inside of the card because I want to be able to write a note. Hi, Terry. Hey, I need to touch base with you. I will do that after I am done going live here tonight. All right. So we'll just center that inside here. And then on the outside of this card, the assembly part is really pretty easy. You're just going to add adhesive to the back of your designer paper. And I find it's easier to attach it with the card closed. You can do whatever you want. And basically what you want to do is have equal space around the side and then the top and bottom of the card and attach it. And then you're going to put adhesive on the back side of the other piece. And that you're just going to butt right up to the edge of the piece you just adhered, and hopefully your top and bottom are even. And then the next thing that we're going to do is put on, you know what, I don't like that owl on this card after all of that. kind of do. Yeah, we're going to go for it. It's how I started it. It's how I'm going to finish it. All right, so I'm just going to trim off the edge of this and hope I get it pretty straight, because I did not want the full banner on here. And I'm just going to line it up right there. So like I said, this card is a very simple card to make, but as my samples will show you, you can change it up to be any type of card that you want, just based on what you attach to the card. We're going to go ahead and put this owl on, and that spot did dry, so I lucked out on that. That's the other thing that's nice about these blend pens, is because they're alcohol based, they do tend to dry pretty quick. And I am popping that one up. On dimensionals. See, I'm pushing my boundaries here with my comfort zone a little bit, because I don't know if flowers and owls always go together, but I really wanted to use that owl, and I like the bright colors in this paper. And so this is what you end up with. And then I am going to be using, like I said, these milky dots. And I think that's going to add just a little bit of pop that I need on this card. So we're going to go ahead, and I need to get a new sticky piece for my take your pick tool. But I'm going to go ahead and stick a couple of these dots on here. Oh, maybe I will put that one right where it landed. And then this one's kind of a petal pink, so we'll put that there, and I think we're just going to do it like this. And put one in each corner, and that sort of dresses up that square so it's not quite as much white space, because I think that's kind of what was bothering me. So now we've got these fun milky dots on here to add a little color. We've got that Regency Park Designer Series paper, the banner with It's Your Day, and this card is finished. Now I did mention I was going to use some ribbon, and I think actually what I'm going to do, I don't think I'm going to be using that piece of tape again, is just kind of do the little faux bow where you tie it in a knot. And then you just have the ends to the bow. And what I like about doing this bow is you can make it a little smaller and not have it take up or become the focal point of your card, but you can still have a bow on there, if that makes sense. And so again, I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, and these are some glue dots I had left over from a paper pumpkin kit. And I'm going to put that one right there. Some people don't like these because these backs can be hard to get off. I just work at it with my finger till I get it, or the tip of your Take Your Pick tool. Okay, there we go. So I've got bling, I've got blends, I've got bows, I've got die cuts, and I think the card came together. Yay, I like when that happens. I like when that happens. Okay, so let me show you the first two examples again that I had out here. This is using the Dainty, oh, my brain. Dainty Flowers Designer Series paper. And then here's a, whoops, a baby card and that one is using the Fancy Flora Designer Series paper. Here's the card we just made that's using the Regency Park Designer Series paper. And then I've got this card, which is a paper that's in the annual catalog that I have not used for a while. And this one is called Sun Prints, and the color is Gray Granite. And this one I've just turned into a congratulations card. And on the inside, I think I stamped the wishing you everything wonderful. So this could be congratulations for a new job. It could be a wedding card. It could be a graduation card, because we're getting into that season. And then the next paper that I have is another one that's available in the Celebration catalog, and that's the Favorite Flowers Designer Series paper. And I just used the Go-To Greetings and the Just a Note and a little bit of ribbon. And so I've got just an everyday card there. And then here I've made, using the same paper, that Favorite Flowers, I've made a masculine birthday card out of that. And so just 6 cards. I made all of these in under an hour. And that included some issues I had stamping and getting ink all over everything on one of the sentiments here. So quick, easy card, fun one to make, shows off your Designer Series paper, so that helps with my goal of using things. And you can really change it up to fit whatever occasion you need simply by switching out the Designer Series paper and the colors that you're using on that. So I hope you like that. Hi, Pam. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. It's just an easy card that you can duplicate. Sometimes I need those. This card actually came from a card sketch that I found online. So it's not a layout that I created per se, but it's just a card sketch out there to kind of get your juices flowing if you're stuck in a rut, which I was a little bit this afternoon as I was planning things out here. So don't hesitate to use those. They're literally sketches, so there's no color on the cards. It's just kind of, if you're lucky, the dimensions are on there. This particular one they were, so it was easy to use. So again, measurements are 5.5 by 8.5 for the card base, 2 1/4 by 5 1/4, and then 3/4 by 5 1/4 for the 2 pieces of Designer Series paper. And then whatever size you need for your embellishments. You can stamp inside if you want to. Thank you. May the good you do come back to you. You can leave it blank. It's your day. It's a birthday card. That might be fun for a little kid. And then babies are a blessing, so tiny, so precious. So you can really change it up. Have fun with it. If you do make these, please post a picture of it in the comments below so the rest of us can be inspired by your creativity. I would really appreciate that. Give me a thumbs up if you're watching the video in person and like what you're seeing. If you happen to be catching this on replay, go ahead and comment replay so I can kind of get a feel for who can see live and who can see in replay. And if you know of somebody else who may like this layout, feel free to share the video. I always appreciate when that gets done as well. And in the meantime, I will start working on my card for next week, and we will see you next week for the next Make It Monday. Take care, everybody, and have a great night. Bye-bye.